Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to SimAirport. I hope you're having a good one because we begin today with a story. In fact, we begin today with two stories, but both of them are sort of similar. So earlier today, I left the game running whilst I went and got dinner because I thought to myself, you know what? I want to earn some money. I want some money before I sit down for the next part of this series because I want to do some building in this episode. So I got back from dinner, I looked at the money, and it was minus $10,000, which was a bit weird because if we have a little look here, we're making about $98,840 per day, assuming no flights are delayed or canceled. So how did I have minus $10,000? Well, it turns out that the maintenance area that we had down here once upon a time actually needs toolboxes, and we didn't have toolboxes. So I left the game running for about 30 to 45 minutes, and somewhere in there, the bag scanners both stopped working and needed maintenance. So for a good chunk of that time, the airport wasn't functioning. Now, some planes were landing and passengers were getting off of those flights, which is okay because we are doing $1,200 per runway usage and $45 per passenger. But somewhere the airport essentially stopped functioning because when a plane is delayed, it can sometimes stay on the ground for longer than it's scheduled to. Sometimes you will have to send them away manually. So that was almost a game over, which was a bit of a worry. But as you can see, we're sitting on $1.2 million or near enough, which brings us to story number 2. Story number 2 is that when you pause this game, or rather when you bring up what I would consider the pause menu by pressing escape, the game doesn't pause. The game's still running despite this little menu being open. So it was a couple of hours after dinner, and I thought to myself, you know, it's getting a little bit late. I need to get my run in for the day. So I went and I did my run, having pressed escape, and the game just kept running in the background. So I get back to the game sometime later, and wouldn't you know, I've got $1.2 million to spend, which is a lot more money than I had intended to have in this episode, but that's okay because I am going to spend a decent bit of that, because what I want to do today is I want to figure out this security situation, because I have made some changes. What I've done is I've gone ahead and added a third queue to security, which is for flight crews only, because as it turns out, you do in some situations need to have the flight crew for a plane arrive at the airport, go through security, and get on the plane first before the passengers can board. So if they're getting held up at security, you can get all the passengers through, but if the flight crew's not there, no one's getting on the plane. So I added this third queue, which is for flight crew only, and I went ahead and took the flight crew off of the other two queues as well. So that's certainly helped with that situation, but security still backs up like crazy in the mornings, and I would kind of like it to not do that. So what I figure we're going to do is finally sit down and figure out a new setup. And I want to use planning for this before we do any of it, because what I'm thinking we do is we go ahead and we build something like this and something like this, and we go straight across, and we're going to expand the ticketing area just a little bit. So if we use magenta for the ticketing desks, what we can do is we can go ahead and say that we'll have a, what does this work? We're going to have a ticketing desk right about here. And then in front of it, I want to do a queue. And the way the queues are right now is 5 by 3. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say 5 by 3. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a gap, and I'm going to do another one, and a gap, and another one, and a gap, and another one. And then we'll go in and we'll just add in the desks right there. And the reason I'm leaving those gaps is because if I don't, what ends up happening is the passengers will just walk the entire way down here. So if someone here, for example, will walk this entire length instead of sort of funneling back to the area they should be walking in, because they won't walk over a queue, which is something I've discovered through a little bit of experimentation. So what we can do is add another one there and perhaps another one right there. And we'll just add these queues right there and there as well. And that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ticketing desks, which is lovely. What I'm also thinking we could do is potentially get some ticketing kiosks. So these things down here. And if this works the way I think it does, which is in there, around there, and up that way, we would go 2 ticketing kiosks right there, 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 there. Oh, not right there, but that's okay. We'd have 12 of the ticketing kiosks right there, sort of at the foot of the queue. And then what we could also do is maybe go ahead and do some chairs. So if we use maybe, I don't know, cyan for that, we could do 3-person benches in all of these spots the whole way down here. And we could probably go ahead and use orange for maybe some flight info displays, the small ones in between all of those chairs, as well as maybe some big ones back here as well, facing the queues. That might be kind of interesting. We might not need that many of them, but maybe one big one right there and one big one right there would be enough for maybe one right there as well. That might look a little bit weird, but I think that's what we'll go for on the flight info displays. We'll kind of space them out a bit like that. And that should give everybody just a huge amount of space to check in. It'll give them space to sit down. And I'm leaving this gap back here because eventually we're going to do baggage handling. So that's going to be a new ticketing space. And that should do wonderful things for us. But I also want to figure out security. That's the big deal today. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to extend this space. And we'll actually bring that down by 1. We want to clear this bit, and clear this bit. Because we're going to bring a section of wall back here. We're going to do a nice sort of corridor to about there. And now here's the interesting thing. We can't actually build all that close to taxiways and aircraft stands. If I try to, it's just not going to let me. So I want to sort of measure down here a little bit and get to the point where I can build, which is right there. So that's kind of the corner, and any closer than that I can't do. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave that bit of wall to be constructed there for a second. And I'm going to do that as well. Because what I can do here is I can use planning with just these white sections to mark out exactly how close to everything I can get. So what I'm going to do, actually what I can do is planned walls just in all of those spaces. So that's about as close as I can go there, which is, it's a bit of a pain, to be honest, that I can only kind of go that close, but we can also do this and we can do this. So that's as far over to the taxiways as I can go. All right. So we have this weird space to work with, but what I think I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to build all the way down here as well. So we're going to come right down. We're going to go right across here. We're going to go up here. And I think we're just going to ignore this little weird space and we're just going to clear that planning. And I'm also going to cancel those sections of wall because we don't want them being built. And this whole space right here is going to be for security, which means we are going to be losing some restrooms. We are going to be losing, obviously, a bit of space here. But what we can do is have this remain as a secure exit, essentially. So we'll have, say, a nice double door there, a nice double door there, and then this will be the main security space. Now we could have some queues kind of come down this entire length if I wanted to, which I'm 50-50 on. But for now, I want to focus on actually getting things into this space because that is going to be the challenge. If we go and have a little bit of a look at objects and I search for scanner, I want to use these remote bag scanners because I've been doing some research and it turns out I can connect 5 of these things to a remote security station and it will work at 100% efficiency. Any more than 5 and you start to lose efficiency and it slows down. And these guys they're 1 by 7 at this orientation, 7 by 1 at this orientation. So my thinking is we go back into planning, we go to pink, and we say that we want 1, I assume this way. So we're going to do 1 by 7. And then I want to use the body scanners, which are 2 by 2. So 1 by 7 on that. And then we'll go in with, say, lime, and we'll do 2 by 2. Then we'll leave a gap and we'll kind of just dot these the entire way across here. We can go back to, we'll just use magenta, I guess. So we have 1, we have 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the remote bag scanners. So we get exactly 5 of those. We get exactly 5 body scanners. We're more than doubling the capacity of our security by doing it this way. Everyone kind of comes down, they'll exit into the secure zone right here. And we can have some queues up this way. Although obviously we're going to need the ID checks as well. So we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for those, which honestly looks okay. And I guess in terms of queues, well, I'm not really too worried about what way we do the queues on this. We could make it kind of interesting, I guess. We could do a few things with it, but I think what we might do with them is maybe something like this. So one queue kind of comes down that way, and then we could have another queue that sort of comes down this way and maybe loops back or something. I don't really know. I don't know if we need these 2 massive queues because we're going to have an odd number on one queue versus the other. So I'm not too sure. Maybe what we do is we clear this bit of planning and instead we go for, could I do like a little 3x3 type deal? Maybe a little 2x2 kind of deal? I don't really know. We can't get any closer this way and we can't really move it down any further without changing my plan completely. So, well, what if the ID check things were moved back by 1? And then if we clear this bit, we could potentially do a little sort of looping queue that goes this way, then back, then this way. We could even move it back a little bit so there's a bit more room. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So you would have a queue, say there, and there, and there. And then you would have another one in there and in there. And I think that'll be okay. It's not necessarily going to work as nicely as these more lengthy queues down here. I don't know that this is a good idea, but I think we'll experiment with queues. We'll have a little bit of room to do that. So that'll kind of work out. And actually, I want to leave that planning in there so I can see what I'm supposed to be doing. So 3 there, and some orange in those spaces as well. Yeah, so we are going to be getting rid of these restrooms. We are going to be getting rid of these check-in kiosks down here. We're probably going to need to get rid of some of this the seating here as well. And we're going to be changing a lot of things, really. It's a pretty big project, but I think it's going to be good, and I think it's going to help the airport be that little bit more efficient. Now, what I'm also going to have to do is throw a little, I guess, I could expand this space ever so slightly to include, and I think I'm going to do this. I want to bring the wall back this way just a little bit, because if I do that, I can put the little security desk thing right there. And then we could maybe do some vending machines along this section of wall. So it's sort of enclosed a little bit, maybe some info and some stuff like that. And it does, these walls here actually line up nicely with that middle section. So that's totally fine. And I think that's okay. We could maybe bring it in by 1. So this thing's actually going to be there instead, because then it would line up with this wall at the bottom. And I think I like that. I think that's okay. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think it's a pretty big project, but we need to get started on it. So let's start dismantling some things that we're not going to be needing. So we'll get rid of all of these chairs. We'll get rid of those plants. We'll get rid of all of this. We can probably get rid of these vending machines for now. They're new, by the way, and they're doing very, very well, but they do need to go for the time being. We could probably do with getting rid of the restrooms as well, because I'm thinking that they just kind of need to go. All of that needs to go as well. And I think that's about everything for now. We'll start that way. We can also go to zones and we can say none, and we can say none. And that will just get all of that space kind of nicely cleared out a little bit, which is good. That's exactly what we need. So we need all of that stuff being moved. And then in terms of actually building this, well, I think the best thing we could do is, I wonder if I can go in and I can replace, so I can't replace this fence right now. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a fence right there. And I want that built first before I start tearing down or building any more of this terminal. Because if I start replacing sections of fence, all of this is no longer going to be considered secure. And then it's all going to start throwing issues at me. So we'll kind of get this built first as just a little backup. And then eventually it's going to go away. But for now, that's fine. And if we go to foundations, we want to build this section first, which is $148,000. We're going to want to build this section, which is $35,000. And then all of this section here, which is going to be $60,000, pretty much $61,000. So we'll let them go kind of nuts. It should be relatively easy to do that. I'm kind of glad we've got as much money as we do. But it'll take a minute to do. It'll definitely take a minute to build all that, but I think it's going to be absolutely worth it. I think it's going to be kind of fantastic, and I'm kind of excited to see this all come together. Hopefully it works. Hopefully it's not a complete disaster, because if it is, I'm going to be really annoyed. Also, a little interesting detail about this airport, it absolutely does not function if we don't have all of those self-check-in kiosks. This is a ridiculous number of people. Also, people pointed out in the comments that the queue for this third ticket desk was never connected. It wasn't. It is now. We've also got people missing flights, which is definitely a bit of an issue, but I think we're just going to have to deal with that until this is all built. We should only have about a day of disruptions with the airport while this is all going on. We're definitely going to have some flights that end up delayed or canceled or whatever, especially once we start moving these desks around, but we should be able to manage. And it does look like this is all at least starting to come together and is now done. So what we'll do is we'll go in, we'll go to dismantle. I want to dismantle that wall. I want to dismantle all of that wall as well. And I want to dismantle this wall as well. And that should open things up. And it should give us a bit of an idea of the space that we're gonna be working with. Now, a lot of these guys are having a lot of trouble, but I'm hopeful that I can do something about that. So let's extend the ticketing zone into all of this space. Let me go ahead and get myself a nice sliding door as well for that little bit right there. And I guess I might do one down here as well, just to give that sort of an isolated corridor kind of vibe. And maybe a window. A window. I don't know why I pronounced it window. That was weird. Really weird. Maybe a window. That's weird pronunciation. I don't know what's up with me today. But I think a nice big window down there will be lovely. So we'll get that going. And I think what I'm going to also do is make sure that auto hiring and firing is on, because I'm going to be messing around with desks and all that stuff. So we might as well make sure that we can kind of manage everything we're trying to do. So we'll get those guys installed as soon as possible. The window might take priority, although it's not going to take very long, and the doors aren't going to take that long either. So we'll get those desks installed, and then what we'll do is we'll go back into construction, and I'm going to say dismantle those three, dismantle those PA speakers, and also shrink these queues down a little bit so that we no longer have them down here. And dismantling those three desks means that we're going to be able to use them again. So if I go back into desk, we have 3 of these guys in stock, so I can go 1, 2, and 3, and we'll just place them back out there. And we should automatically hire enough staff to work all of the desks, which is completely fantastic. Although it might not be immediate. Although it does look like, well, we've got 9 of them, so we might have more coming in. I don't really know. But we have the desks right there, and there we go. We got people working them. Fantastic. So that's exactly the way I wanted things to be. Now what I need to do is get some queues in here. And that's the head of the queue. So let me just shrink and shrink. So the queue starts or ends there, I guess. And we do this. We do exactly the same thing there. And we kind of just want to go along and do this the entire way up through this space. That was backwards. That's still not right. We want to go from here and just sort of bring it around. We're going to have to connect each of these to their queue. But this should, I think, work pretty well. So assign you to there. We assign you to there. We assign this guy to that one. We assign this one to that one, and this one to that one. And that should now give us a bunch of people lining up, which it absolutely does, which is fantastic. Still very busy, but that's okay. we can go into kiosk and we have 8 of these guys in stock. So what we'll do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And all I need to do is buy 4 of them. So that should make checking in that little bit faster, although it is going to make security that little bit more of a nightmare now that everybody can do that. But that's okay. That's a good looking check-in space. It's got everybody moving through that little bit faster, which is what I want. So let's go into comfort and see what we can do there. We have some benches. I think we'll go for these guys, which is the same as the ones that we've always used in the check-in space. So we'll just dot these the entire way along there. And we can go and get these info displays. And I'm tempted to put these info displays sideways so that the info is kind of being shown to everybody in the chairs. I feel like that's kind of a better idea. So that kind of works out. And then these big ones are going to be there, there, and there. And that should be really good info coverage for the entire ticketing space, which I think is probably the best place to have info coverage. But that looks pretty solid to me. I'm actually really happy with that. Security is obviously very busy, but the whole point of this operation is to improve security. So not really too worried about that. And I do think we can probably go ahead and clear a decent little chunk of this planning up to about there at the very least. So we have the space for a nice corridor right there. We have all these people kind of chilling, trying to get through security. So let's, I guess, go ahead and make this all a little bit more chaotic for a minute, because we do need to go into queues and we do need to shrink some of these queues completely because they are ever so slightly in the way. So all of that needs to go. That's just going to be absolute chaos, but that's all right. Let's dismantle all of this stuff as well, just to get it all out of the way. And now that it's gone, what I can do is go in and get some walls to surround all of this space. I can go to doors and I can say that this is going to be a sliding door and this is going to be a sliding door. And once that's all installed, if I go to, in fact, if I go to scanner now and I do these remote scanners, can I put them this way? I absolutely can. Okay. So 1, they're 16,400 each, but that's fine. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Body scanners are facing this way. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to look at the ID check stands, which are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we want to go and get a remote security station as well, which can go, I guess, right about there. And that will be the new security space. And I think it looks okay. I think it looks pretty solid. So let's get a queue going this way. So that's 1. That'll be 2. That'll be 3, 4, and 5. And I'm very tempted to say that this 5th one is going to be for flight crews only. Or maybe this first one should be flight crews only. That might not be a bad idea. It might be a bit risky though, but I think we're going to give it a shot and then turn flight crew off for the rest of them. So you get assigned there. You get assigned there. You get assigned to that one. And you to that one. So we'll see how that plays out. What we can also do is we can assign these body scanners to the check stand, or sorry, the bag scanners to specific things. So we can kind of set it up that way. And then you get assigned to that ID, to that scanner, and to that desk. You get assigned to that ID stand, to that scanner, and to the desk. You go to that ID, that scanner, and to the desk. And then this one is that ID, that scanner, and back to the desk. So that should be this entire security setup done. And it is a good time for it to be done, because what I can now do is dismantle all of this. We can go to zones. We can go to security. And we can set, I guess, all of this as a security zone, which, how do I, there we go. I need to close that. There we go. So that's all a security zone. And if I go to zones right here and say none, that should, oh, hold on a minute. I've just messed something up ever so slightly. This is just a little extension of the security zone right there. So that should now be a new and working security zone, I think. Hold on, why is it not working? Staff at bag scanners, 0. Have we hired more staff? We should have more. There we go. We got more security guys coming in. And there we go. It's now working. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. That's fantastic. All right. So yeah, that should now be a working security space, which means if I go to security and I get myself a security exit, what I can do is do this. And now once those are built, if I go and have a little bit of a look once, oh, tell me this works. Oh, it does. Look at that. Look at them go through. Look at them getting through there. Now that those are built, if I look at the security overlay, this entire space is now secure. That's kind of fantastic. Oh, that's kind of great. I'm really happy with that. Let's get some flooring in there then, and let's make it look the part. So what I'm thinking we go for is honestly this, I kind of like this stone right here. I might take a look at it and see what it looks like. So we'll do that. And then for this little hallway, I kind of like the idea of this sort of bluish looking one. And then for this space, I think we just stick with the same old carpet. So I think we just bring the carpet straight through there and see what it all ends up looking like. But people are getting through really well. There is still a bit of a backup, which is definitely a bit of a problem, but they're getting through really well. So that's fine by me. And if we go to planning and we just clear the rest of it, that's not bad looking, is it? It's not bad looking. It is a little bit gray, but I am happy with that. Even with the queues, I am quite happy with that because I think we're moving people through at a decent little rate. We might need to open this first one to regular passengers. That is a definite possibility looking at it. But I think people are getting through just fine. I think it's working. So this makes me really happy. And then we have this whole space to do stuff with as well. We have to make sure there's plenty of seating out here. But this does look the way I wanted it to, and that's got me quite happy. So let's go ahead and do a little bit more work. Let's get a window right there. And I'm thinking a window right there just because we can. That might look a bit weird, but that's okay. If we go to objects and we go to comfort, I do think we could get away with maybe some benches, say there. Actually, you know what? Let's cancel that one and do them sort of in the middle here instead. Might be a bit of a weird spot for them, but we'll do that anyway. We could maybe... Yeah, you know what? We'll do this as well. We'll sort of extend them ever so slightly, and that'll be all right. We can also do some plants on those, as we had done before. So we'll go ahead and get some nice colorful ones for here and for here. And then I want vending machines. So if I go to vending machines, we can do a couple of drinks vending machines, a couple of food vending machines. We could do a few more of those around here because those are going to be very busy. But honestly, that's a decent looking check-in area, if I do say so myself. We got the little secure way out just here that makes me very happy. I like it. I really like it. I'm really, really pleased with that. I'm really, really pleased with that. You go in, you go to your ticketing thing, and that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. It's done exactly what I wanted to do. It's used the space exactly how I wanted to use it. I don't think anybody's complaining about not being able to get to their flights. So I think we're pretty much at a point where we can expand the airport. Although what I am wondering is, that really didn't do much to our income either. Okay, that's really not bad. In terms of research, I have lowered my income tax. I have advanced security, which was essential for the security setup that we have. Advanced ticketing. Ability to assign aircraft gates to specific ticketing zones. That would be kind of cool, but we don't need it right now. Gate control. I don't know if we need it right now. I do think upgraded buses would be a really good idea. I really do. Multiple drop-offs and pickups might not be a bad idea either. But I think we would need multi-lane access first. and possibly maybe light rail transit would be good as well. I think, to be honest, we need upgraded buses, and then we probably need operations too. But I think that's pretty solid. I'm also wondering, can I research like other things at the same time? So if I was to look at maintenance, it allows me to configure all maintenance options, including repair thresholds for different objects. Escalators, I don't think we need. Okay, credit reporting, lower property tax. Oh, I can. I guess it's because it's being done by the CFO. So lower property tax is definitely a win. I guess we start going down the line and just researching other things as well. So, I mean, what do we need for this? I need operations 2. Okay, and fuel ports as well. I do think getting those would be good, but I mean, operations 2 is kind of essential. So let's go for, I guess, nothing over there right now. Maintenance wouldn't be a bad idea, so we'll look into that as well. We'll just get all that research kind of going. But this feels like a really good little upgrade for the airport. I'm really happy with it. I'm also thinking this space right here could probably be, I don't know, like a kiosk or something. We have a coffee one already. We could do a dessert kiosk right there, which would be kind of fun. We could do health food as well. So what? That'd be kind of funny right next to each other, actually, wouldn't it? What about a little... I like that we have these. It's really cool. What about snacks? And then sushi? And then health food? Maybe? Right at the end? I think that'd be kind of a good spot for it. I don't know. Or maybe just desserts. I do like the look of the desserts one, I'm not going to lie. It does look pretty great. So I think, no, I'm going to go with health food. I'm going to go with health food. I think that's the better choice. So we'll throw it right there. That'll be pretty good. We can throw a nice floor underneath it. Something like this, perhaps. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do as well is just extend the security floor to right there. And I'm going to bring that sort of light blue through to about there, because I think that's going to look better. And then maybe we give this entire area in here a different floor. I say different floor. I think it's this one. Yeah, this one's already being used. So we'll just bring that back to here. And I think that'll look pretty good. I really do. I'm kind of excited about this. I know it's something relatively minor, but I think it's going to look great. I really think it's going to look great. We need to assign it to a kitchen. Okay. Assign you to that kitchen, and that kitchen. And we might need another kitchen now that I think about it. So at least 2 hot plates are recommended for efficiency. How many hot plates do we have? 1. Oh dear. Oh dear. All right. Let me see here. Hot plates. I can put one there and there, and that should be fine. We'll do another one there as well. Can I assign multiple chefs to the same kitchen? Is that a thing that I can do? I've really got no idea. Kitchen overview. It doesn't really tell me anything. So, I mean, we've come back down to 1. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this one kitchen is going to be enough to get these guys running, but that looks pretty solid to me. And thinking about it, we could also probably change the layout to get more seats in here. But this is good. This makes me really happy. Security is moving people through at a really good rate. The queues are nowhere near as bad as they used to be. People can still self-check-in. They can go to some vending machines before they come through. They can go to these kiosks once the kiosks start getting some stock, of course. It's pretty good looking. It is pretty good looking. There's also no stock. Oh, wait, no, this one, no, doesn't have stock. You have stock? Low stock. Oh. Okay. Not bad. I mean, people are buying stuff, so that's great. Oh, this makes me so happy. This makes me so happy. I'm really enjoying this. I'm enjoying this more than I thought I would. I think, I don't know if I've mentioned it already, but I think I did. I don't want to repeat myself like an episode later, but I was really worried that I was going to be really bored playing this because I thought it was going to be basically a repeat of Airport CEO, but it is different enough that I'm genuinely really enjoying this. It's kind of got a different angle to Airport CEO. It feels a little bit more, it feels a little bit less serious, I guess. I don't know if it is. It feels a little more chill. I don't know. I don't know why that necessarily is, but maybe it's by design. This is a little bit less of a hardcore simulator. I don't know if airport CEO's a hardcore simulator or not, but I'm really pleased with this. I'm so pleased with the little security upgrade. I also want to have a quick look at government grants and see if I've missed anything. So build 5 stores. Do these guys count as stores? I don't know if they do. I don't know if I should have accepted that or not. I don't know if they count as stores or not, but we've accepted this anyway. As for airline stuff, oh, we've got another grant accepted right now. What else have I accepted? What is this? Pay off any loans. Oh God. Oh no. Outstand. Okay. We should probably do that, shouldn't we? Let's repay as much of this as I feel comfortable doing. Let's go down to like 250-ish right there. And that's actually made my credit worthiness a bit better, which is good. So we still have 575. Let's bring that down to 500. We've paid off half of the loan now. So that should mean that, I mean, my credit score should be a little bit better, but we should also, if I kind of just let the game sit again, we should end up making enough money to pay it off again, which is going to be great. So let's do that. Let's make enough money to pay off the rest of the loan and keep, you know, thriving with the old airport here.